Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Andrew DeMann. I've been asked to introduce what I do before we launch into our full roundtable. I gave it a title. Let's call it Professionalization versus Scholarship in a New Media Age. So I have a little bit of theory to back up my practice here in terms of where I'm coming from. We all know the mantra by Clarence Marsh Case from 1928, publish or perish. This mantra has been described as the cause of the replication crisis, where a lot of people were publishing stuff that wasn't well-founded because they felt they had to publish, and we got a lot of bad stuff as a result of it. And it's also the cause of many grad student anxiety attacks ever since, putting a lot of pressure on academics to produce work that is immediately publishable. Now, in 2009, we went in a slightly different direction. Joseph Romm coined the phrase "publicize or perish," and even though he was talking about STEM, he was talking about climate change. This nonetheless became the new mantra for the Academy, appropriately right as the sort of social media age was coming to its fore. Then, in 2014, at the Harvard Summit on Information Technology, Clay Shirky gives a keynote talking about how technology will always come in through the back door, suggesting that things like computers and like even Excel, they were never issued by administrators. It was the people doing the work who decided to use this technology to make it better until the administrators noticed, essentially. Now, what this means for me is that when we do live in a social media age, your dean's never going to ask you to open a Twitter account. You're going to figure out that good scholarship can be done through Twitter. And eventually, you might be recognized for doing that, and I might convince my dean that my Twitter account is actual research, because that's a tough sell. And then alongside that theory, Shirky also talks about what's called cognitive surplus, which is the idea of how sort of what Henry Jenkins refers to as knowledge communities can leverage their collective abilities and draw in this kind of information, let's call it commerce, that we have in order to create new and wondrous things. And I don't know, that's what I'm trying to create with my scholarship. Now, I should point out, I haven't wholly abandoned the old academic ways. I'm still publishing in peer-reviewed journals. I'm still, going to conferences. And I'm still, trying to get a book manuscript through. So, I don't know. I'm not as radical as I guess I might be pretending to be in this presentation. Now, what caught Sophia's attention in recruiting me for this roundtable is the work I did for The Conversation, which is a SSHRC-sponsored network of academic publishing that feeds out to the Canadian and world press. So they look for academics. Originally, you actually had to be faculty. Now they've opened that up to grad students in order to even apply, or they approach you, which is how I got dragged in. Delightfully, I didn't know what The Conversation was at the time, and then they publish these articles that then go out across the wire and can be picked up by any news organization as a way to fill space while presenting expert academic work. So their official slogan is academic rigor, journalistic flair. And that journalistic flair, that network of publishing that comes out over the wire is what makes them really appealing. You're going to get a big reach when you publish through The Conversation. The smallest reach I've ever gotten was 6,000 on an article. And even that was incorrect because their data tracking doesn't account for major newspapers such as the National Post, which is obviously a flaw in their infrastructure, but hopefully they fix that soon. So I've published 8 articles for them in 4 years. They're roughly 800-ish words each, and my total documented reach is 230,000 reads, which is a lot for an academic. On an average, your journal article is going to get 10, something like that. And yes, you're reaching the right people in that context. It's a very targeted marketing approach, but still a little disheartening. Though I do really appreciate that my parents took the time to read my article. And then the other thing that I've been working on is the Claremont Run, which is a SSHRC-sponsored micro-publishing initiative. We have 8,000-ish followers. We had 2 million tweet impressions in the last month, which is great. Not Kardashian numbers, but cousins of the Kardashian numbers, maybe. And it gives me the opportunity to create an ongoing dialogue between me, leading scholars, creators, and the public. Again, little mini essay type things, or data, or charts, graphs, whatever. Interviews published every day, creating this massive holistic perspective of my subject, which I think is really the value of what we do at the Claremont Run. So, tying this up, Given the problematic infrastructure and practices of humanities research in general and comic studies in particular, and seriously, how effective is our peer review? Alongside the problematic excision of fan-based knowledge communities from comic scholarship as a whole, which we know is a massive problem, is it not possible to now see engaged social media work as the scholarship and all the tenure-seeking PR journal writing as the professionalization? It's more integrated, it's participating in more dialogues, it can be updated, it's archived, it's free and accessible, it can have images. There's so many reasons why it's stronger than traditional academic press, but I need that traditional academic press to put on my CV. So maybe that's the problem. Also, don't throw things at me. I'm really very nice. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to discussing this issue with you further, but nicely.